Hello there everyone, and welcome back to another painting stream with me, Audio. And today, I will continue my work on these two Norse ladies. The final two line women of the team. Gonna work still on the base colors. Got a decent way to go on these. But we'll see how it goes. Hey there, Pig in Space. How is the day treating you? Hey, Tanif. Been a while. How are you? Yeah, technically, I feel both of you, because I'm tired of working on something that really wasn't productive. So yeah, I get you both. Sure thing. And since I remember you mentioned that you were curious on the poll results, before getting to paint, I think I'm gonna go and take a look at what it is that's happening. So yesterday I mentioned that it really wouldn't be feasible to start any of the new projects before our return from the World Cup. So I am just going to leave the poll open until that time, because there's no reason to close it down for now. So if anyone still hasn't submitted their opinions and their preferences, you still have a full, 2-3 weeks ahead of you. And let's take a look at the pie charts, because everybody loves pie charts. Right, so a total of 35 people has answered something. Not everyone has expressed any opinion on all of the questions raised. But still, let's take a look. So on the painting project, with a total of 27 responses, the Necromunda Goliath gang is still the running champion, with 33.3%, or a total of 9, with the runner-up being the Grebo Bretonians. So they will probably be the secondary project for painting if I get to implement it. Building is again still Warcry, Untamed Beasts, Warband in the lead with 8 votes, followed by an equal amount of votes for the Blood Bowl Orcs team and the Blood Bowl Chaos team. Orcs, of course, being GW, Kid Bashed, 40k, and Blood Bowl, plus some Cromlech bits, and the Chaos team being from RN Studio. And pretty much the only topic that has had any considerable change since the start is the game question. Yeah, but that will be, I think it'll be in a different section, but I just don't really know how to implement it. So his idea for Borderlands is for us to have a multiplayer game, and I just haven't gotten around to figure out how to do it reliably. And yeah, I suppose, because I think someone actually asked me that question which Fallout this is referring to. So yeah, it may have been a little bit misleading, but I'm not gonna lie, I like it the way it is. So just to finish up on the topic of the game, his suggestion of a multiplayer night is pretty fun, and I think it is doable. We can do it, let's say once a month or something like this. Something rare, but fun, just break things up a little bit. Although, yeah, I know, but I won't be doing that. There is also a brutal trainer that you can boost your character to the point where you can literally do it in right away. But still, that's not the point, I don't think. So yeah, the multiplayer games also, I have a few suggestions for multiplayer games. And I think that once things settle down a little bit into a bit more of a stable schedule, I can think about talking to all of you guys and see where and when it'll be best to put it in and what game we should play. So back on topic, as I said, solid lead for Fallout. Again, taking into consideration that maybe not everyone actually realized what this was, but anyway. And there are actually 3 other games that are with the exact same amount of votes, which is to say 4. And that would be Dead Space, Baldur's Gate, the Enhanced Edition, and Shadowrun Returns. And I actually pretty much like all of these. Like, I'm pretty glad people chose these games. Dead Space is something that I would really like to play at some point on stream, because it's a nice, scary survival. Well, thank you. I did choose ones that I would, in any case, like to play, so no matter what the choices were. But still, these are from the ones that I would play, the ones that I would prefer to want to play. So this is good. And of course, Fallout being technically, well, basically my favorite game, so I really can't hate that decision. Other games that have had votes are Mad Max with 2 votes, Planescape having only 2 votes. This is a bit weird for me, but considering that there aren't that many streamers or YouTubers that have made Planescape runs. A bit weird, whatever. They Are Billions is the one that surprised me, that people actually want me to play this, even though that there are just a couple of them. For those of you who don't know what this is a real-time strategy game with an active pause, like in BioWare games, so Baldur's Gate and the such. And it is a steampunk setting where you fight off hordes of zombies. And recently they added an actual story campaign. So that might be fun to take a look at some point. The Banner Saga with 1 vote. This does not surprise me. This is a rather, if not obscure, then not particularly... Well, it's critically acclaimed, but not really much of a playable game. It's not bad. Yeah, it gets a bit repetitive, but it is a good game. It has awesome graphics, like style, aesthetics. Yeah, I explicitly wanted to limit my options to first games if they have sequels, just to give it a solid start. And Darksiders with 1 vote. Bastion has 2 votes. and so on and so forth. Build projects. There are actually two people that want to see me suffer greatly and have voted for me putting together the Blaze Zaku Phantom, which is the mecha, the Gunpla mecha. So they are a few sadists out there. So thank you. Wild West Exodus actually has someone that wants me to see tackle that for the Outlaws faction. And the Blood Bowl Atlas infamous team of the Gears of Dwarves has 3 votes, probably because very few people got to get this. I saw some news today on that Kickstarter that were pretty bad. Like Gaspers had bought Atlas and will probably not ship the rest of the pledges to the backers, which is a bit shitty. I guess I just got lucky. Yeah, I hope so. But either way, it was a really, really difficult Kickstarter. It took about a year to deliver. Yeah, it was something not too much in terms of numbers. I hope that they do deliver the pledges. But yeah, that's a really infamous, turned into a really infamous case. And on painting, as I said, the runners-up are the Bretonians, followed by the human star players, which is just a bunch of random star players that I've been picking up from here and there. And the War Machine Protectorate of Manath with 4 votes, which doesn't particularly surprise me either. So yeah, that's how things are looking for now. So nothing shocking on painting and building, and a little bit of a surprise on the gaming. However, this will probably start somewhere around the 2nd week of October. Now, let's actually put some paint on miniatures, so otherwise it may actually be longer than that. So today we are going to go along with brown, which is the Mournfang brown base color. And I think that should be the last of the non-metallic paints that I need to put on the minis. By the way, Ethan, if you're still painting your undeads, you are, as usual, more than welcome to share any work-in-progress pics, because that team is looking magnificent. Like, I think that the overall product will definitely draw the eye from at least a couple of tables away. That color, like the combination with the metallic base and contrast paints, really gives it a look of its own. Also, the variety of skin tones breaks up the monotony without breaking up the feel that it is a cohesive team. So they're definitely looking great. Big in Space, have you had any feedback, any updates on your Bretonians? Are they being worked at or not? Have not been started yet? That's bad. Like, time is kinda running out. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Well, I doubt that they would start painting from Greece, but yeah, a reminder would be good. Anyway, let's get to put some paint on plastic. Naturally going way too thin on the first coat. This is to show that I have learned nothing. Oh, there we go. I got some pics of the undeads. Hey, jerkos. Thank you for joining us. I can speak for myself and say that I'm fairly well without being too good. How about yourself? We are just about to take a look at Itanev's undead team for Blood Bowl in progress. Oh yeah, just like I said, that armor it'll draw the eye from a long way away. And the difference in skin tones will also help. It is, isn't it? It's alright, dude. Just the fact that you joined, it means a lot to me and to everyone else in chat, I am sure. So these are the whites, or the mummies. What are they? Ah, they're the mummies, I think. What about? Especially for mobile. Yeah, they look great, dude. Like, and this is considering that. Oh, the whites are down. Ah, yeah, I see them. Yeah, so these are the big guys, the mummies. You can see that the overall lighting has been brought a little bit down on the pictures. So imagine all of this, however, a few ideas lighter. So it actually is a lot more contrasted and it stands out a lot more than it looks in the pictures. So these are wicked sick. Monster Hunter Stories. Is it close to the PC equivalent of Monster Hunter? Nice. Well, I hope you have. Yeah, I think I saw some screenshots of it. It does look decent for what it is for a mobile game, but yeah, it looks very good, and I do hope that you have fun with it, because the kind of gameplay is a bit too heavy for me. Like, the grind within the details is a bit too much for me, but I know that there are people that really love micromanaging their equipment and all that stuff. So I hope you do get your kicks and your funds out of it. So yeah, the team is definitely coming along wicked good. And this is pretty quickly done too. Like, how long did it take you to get these dudes done? Few settings? Like, I think you started last week or something. Well, it's no praise, like it's objectively what I think about it. Yeah, for 1 week, all done. Meanwhile, I'm just here sitting, putting brown paint for hours on in. About 6 months, and I'm still not done. Oh man. Yeah, so that does have its drawbacks, I suppose. Yeah, well, getting time for the hobby, I think it's notoriously all around tough. And it's not unusual or uncommon when you actually get the time for it to be so exhausted from doing stuff that you have to do. At least for me it's the case, and I sometimes just crash on the couch and go, no, 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 I can't do anything. And this is how the stream has helped me. Because the idea of turning the spotlight on me, so to speak, has given me quite a bit. Sleep is overrated. Yeah, every now and again, you can easily afford a night or two without decent sleep, as long as you do have somewhere in the works a day where you can catch up. Indeed. I have been trying to get a better sleep schedule myself, failing miserably at it as usual. Probably the one thing that I will never really get a grip on. Yeah. How did I manage to get myself Bye bye. Thanks for joining and have fun with Monster Hunter. I was about to start talking stuff about a thing, and my mind just went completely blank. It'll come back. Was something to do with schedules and things. So for the tabletop side of things, for our local league, Bobby confirmed that he is now feeling better, and that it is possible for us to get our game this weekend. If we do get any info on that, I will post about it in the Facebook group. Actually wanted to check up to see if we are the ones that are stalling the round, but I honestly didn't have time to do so today. Couldn't even share the video from last evening's decimation at the hands of the Skaven team with a pretty cool name. So I did that today, just before posting. Oh, okay. Good, so things are actually moving along. Cool. I was just worried if, because it's been a while and I haven't checked if we were the ones holding back the whole thing. It'll be fine. I think we are already doing quite a bit better than in the previous season. Oh, that's great. That's good. Awesome. So everything is going according to plan. How, Big and Space, how did your game in Rebel go? And are you going to keep up playing there? Oh, okay. But what is your overall impression of the format? Well, ramp up not being the best example, but still you get my point. Your overall impression of the league. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Oh yeah, and for Elven teams, actually, so not the last champion, but the one before that, he played Wood Elves, and he technically had about four, maybe five players on his roster, and everything else was journeyman, and he actually won the playoffs. So it's definitely not the end of the world. Yeah, well, still, do think about it. If you have time to test out how you would play with these elves, and if you're still okay but do want to change up, you can start off fresh, and you won't be in ramp up, just okay. Yeah, in general the league is just structured in a way that requires and prefers the coaches to keep their teams although there is also a player market which may be restructured. So if your team is some sort of a legendary monster but you just are too bored to play with it and you want to sell off your players and see them getting played in other teams, you can actually go to the player market at the end of each season. No penalty. It's just the divisions are based on wins, losses, and team experience. And so if over 50% of the coaches re-roll their teams into something else, the divisions will become stale. They will lose their value. Because being in Division 1 means that you are a really good coach with a really experienced team. Unless, of course, you just jumped in and got the championship, which actually happened last season. Season 1 team, Season 1 coach just went in and won. Essentially, it's just more fun to play around with developed teams in this format. But if you're tired of the elves or want a fresh start, there is nothing stopping you and nothing penalizing you for it. Also, for fresh teams, there is something called Greenhorn, which is, I think, maybe 2 or... Okay, so in this case, this actually does apply to you when you create a fresh team for a season, and I mean you enlist within the time frame that you should. There is a mini league of about 4 games in which you can play before the actual season opens, so you can get a little bit of early development if you feel like it. It isn't mandatory, if it's only if you want to. Is it helps to make the off season a bit shorter. Because right now it's something along the lines of 6 weeks between seasons. Because there are so many coaches that the playoffs have become immense, like 84 teams or something like that need to play with each other after the regular season. But it's fun, you know. Also the streams with recaps and tipping competitions, looking at the schedule of the matches, making predictions, looking at team development of a certain division. It's pretty fun. I enjoy this. There's a lot of passion put into this, and it shows. Just being done with gusto. So even if I am shit at the game and I do get obliterated every time, it's still actually fun to play and to be a part of this community. And so on and so on. Tomorrow I have to start planning my time off from work for the World Cup. And it's going to be pretty rough. I started doing a lot of new things. There are some audits flying around. As usual, we are short-staffed. And getting this time off approved will be a challenge. Well, not so the fact that of approval, but rather making sure to get enough backups, enough people to back me up on everything that needs to happen. And the fact that everyone keeps dumping work on me doesn't make it any easier, but we're gonna manage. But it is going to be an administrative ordeal of the highest caliber. And this time, unlike last time, I will definitely get a couple more days to unwind after the tournament. Because last time I was at work the day after after we came home, and it was rough. So this time, I'm gonna give myself a little bit more slack. should be fine. Why isn't anyone telling me that I'm keeping the mini too close to the camera and the focus is getting away? Okay, should fix the thing. It's a bit better now. It appears that my old habits are kicking in, as in trying to keep the mini closer to my face. This is what happens when I paint without really thinking about it. And as a result, the focus goes to hell. No worries. As you know, I am more babbling than actually saying stuff. I don't know if I mentioned this, but a colleague from work actually caught the stream once. And the following day she told me that she could actually do yoga while listening to the stream, as I'm so laid back and calm. And I liked that comment because this is pretty much the goal I have for this stream. Oh, that's nice to hear. As an additional confirmation of this. It's pretty much the idea that I'll just nerd out a little bit, calm down, from the day, and so on and so forth. King of Dragon Pass. What's that supposed to be? No, I guess not. Guess not. I could say that the name only as a name sounds familiar, but when you think about it, the name is a dragon and a king in a fantasy game, so it would make sense that I know a name such as that. Oh, cool. Will you trust it though? Because you told me you have had some questionable experiences with GOG releases. That was nice. Great. Yeah, I meant just because there is a dragon in the title. That's what I meant. As mentioned, I have no idea what it is about, so it would be a matter of interpretation. Is it real time or? I don't know why I immediately assumed it was a strategy game, as in an RDS. Maybe it's something I've been just thinking about at the back of my head. Okay. So more Civ style? Right, oh okay. That's unusual. And by that I mean sort of original. Aha, and you choose whether to follow them or not. So it's more a macro strategy. Did you check out Europa Universalis? Because it sounds kind of like that. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting to be able to dig into your immediate strategy and long-term goals. Okay. Yeah, these types of games really swallow you whole and just don't let go. Why do you ask these uncomfortable questions? Soon as we get time and soon as my personal life stops falling apart, I suppose we can finally schedule a game. All right. Oh yeah, do you actually attend those events for the RPGs? 'Cause I see them doing it pretty often. Well, regularly, more like it. What's this? Oh, nice. Yeah, I see. And the dudes below, I suppose, are the um, are the advisors that you mentioned. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I suppose each of them wants to generally pull you towards a certain way of gameplay, and you need to choose which case will be best. Hopefully there is no appeasing them, like it's not a goal. Because we all remember Caesar 3 and the nightmare that it was to please every living or unliving deity in the freaking pantheon, or whatever it is called in Rome. Yeah, I see. So you do have some freedom to dick around with them. Good. Yeah, it does make sense to be the case if you are, in fact, the ruler or chieftain or the authority figure. That your advisors would be replaceable, expendable, and that you don't have to try and get them to always comply with you. There is no reason for me to go so sloppy. With this paint, but this is how it goes. Right, oh, okay. How long in game years does a game usually take? 30 or something? Maybe less, considering the average lifespan. Expected for someone from that make-believe age. In game time, how long does a game usually, a playthrough, usually take? Because you're saying many years. I just got curious on that topic. Oh, so there, it depends on the type of campaign that you choose, alright. It's not like this is your story, standard, and just deal with it. That's nice. 10 to 30, yeah, I thought it's something like that. You should also check out They Are Billions. Might be a fun change of pace for you. Since it's, while it is a real-time strategy, the active pause effectively reduces it to a controlled turn-based one, depending on how you're feeling about your skills. They Are Billions. Yeah, that's the name of the game. And the technology development in the game, being steampunk, is a bit goofy. You start off with some archers with bows and end up with mechs. Oh, this is why I mentioned that recently they added a story campaign. So that absolutely just random playing for the hell of it thing isn't the only way to play it anymore. But it isn't. It's not multiplayer competitive anyway, so you just play against the hordes and see how long you can last. Yeah, sure, that's a good plan. Most people I've seen play it do have a good foundation to play it on, as in they know what they're doing, so you can get some good advice on starting off tips and etc. Splattercat on YouTube, played a bunch of it, and if you can suffer through his incessant babbling, or if you find it enjoyable, it's a pretty decent place to go. Also, he does play most of the new Warhammer games that were released under the radar. There are some turn-based stuff like Stormclaw that actually had a video game adaptation, which doesn't look too bad, if a bit dull. It does prioritize indie games, so there is a strong chance to find something good if you are into this type of thing. Also some platformers and roguelikes, lights, pretty much everything indie that comes out. This is where I should probably get a smaller brush. And that would be the sensible approach. But I can't be bothered. Also, right before the stream, I did a tiny little bit of change on my setup, and it has helped out immensely for this session. Essentially, I just swapped out the pillow underneath my elbows with a thicker one. That I just saw lying around. What keyboard, dude? Did I say keyboard? Oh, yeah. Let me show you. There it is. Just behind the wet palette. Yeah. I don't know, I try to keep the elements that are visible on camera to be in some way related to the stream. And so for the painting part, I avoid having the keyboard in frame. But if I'm playing, I might put it in there. Wow, did I actually do this? Did I actually put a color on a miniature? Amazing. And I just remembered what I was about to say an hour ago about scheduling, when I mentioned that my mind went completely AWOL. And it was just during our talk about Rebel that tomorrow are the scheduling threads. So they should be up today, but they will actually come into play tomorrow. Yeah, that was it. I was just really glad I actually remembered that. was nibbling on my brain. So I will need to schedule my next game. What was I playing? Oh yeah, Bretonians. You do remember when we looked at the Bretonian team yesterday that I should be facing this and next week? And just to give you an overall impression of what I will have to deal with. He already played the Skaven team that ran circles around me, and he won 3-1 against them. So if that was the case against them, we might actually see me being beaten down with a double-digit score. Can you imagine that? Losing with double digits. No, it's not, but you get a feel of a coach when you play against him, and and the team as well. When you see a team that completely obliterated the other one, it's a fair assessment that my ass is probably gonna be whooped. And also he is very efficient team value wise, so I won't get to spend that much inducement money on garbage. But I will keep inducing Helmut until he actually does something. I am already committed to this. I love the concept of a chainsaw on a Blood Bowl pitch, and I will keep doing it until either I figure out how to do it right, or until the dice just go my way completely. I know, pretty much nobody likes him, and it is a liability more than it is a tool that works. There's something about the fluffiness of it that I really like. Also, I am... Okay, can humans induce Puggy? Interesting. I'm also debating whether or not to stop swapping out stat busted players at this point. Oh, okay. I'll take a look at them for next time. And just turn these guys into sort of a Cripple Cup team. Keep them all busted and smashed and niggled. It won't really affect my gameplay. But it will be a team with some character in it. Might be good for a laugh on the recap streams. I should really look into these star players beforehand. Like, to the point where I actually have no idea what Puggy is. I know 4 or 5 star players, 6 that can take part in a human team, and this is the first time I hear of this one. I think I'll switch out the brush. This might actually do a better job. And the brush I use for metallics. Oh yeah, now I remember where you might have seen the keyboard on stream, on the building streams, when I was putting together the Goliaths. Because there was no wet palette to obscure. Again, just random. Receiving a random faxes from the mothership. Don't know why I'm such a scatterbrain today. Weird. The hair I left for now, because I want to base her with a lighter shade of brown. And I will use the same shade of brown for both the hairs, both the sets of hairs, so on her as well. However, one I will build up to blonde and one I will keep brown. with the hopes that the blonde one will not turn out something like the color of the wet palette. Of the sponge. Oh no, you ain't get... I asked you personally, what colors of hair would you like to see on these two chicks? And I had the other ones out, and we discussed it, and we came to the agreement that it'll be blonde for the helmet carrying lady, and brown for the one with the long hair. Yeah, you did, but you started off with the neon colors. That's not the team, the overall team outlook. Which brings me to the point where I really want to redo a little bit of the Dark Elves. That I really want to bring up, because there is where I wanted to use neon colors for the hairs. I really want to bring them up more, because I thought a single strand of hair would be sufficient. But it looks a bit goofy overall, so I think I'll do the entire hair in the neon colors. And try and make it a bit more vibrant, because it sort of came out washed out. Don't know why I did everything I could. Maybe there is a little bit more to it than that. I even based the strands in white to get the absolute most out of the color vibrancy, and still they washed out, especially after the varnish. If you have an idea in your head, yeah. Because you can always adapt to what comes out, but if you have an idea and you want to push that idea onto the models, it's different. Maybe. The whole team is a bit of a sore in my collection. Really want to get patch them up. But with the amount of unpainted things, they're gonna probably have to wait for quite a while. Yeah, for some reason, I feel more comfortable working with this brush. I think I have another one of these. So I can use it for non-metallics all the time. Yeah. That is really cute though. That sounds great. And especially in the Blood Bowl threads, whenever I see a post about someone playing with their kids, especially if they are a bit more grown up, I don't know, I like that idea. Or a monkey, yeah, a monkey could probably liven up the stream, but As mentioned before, not too many of them apply for the job. You know, if I had started painting with this brush on the other mini, I would probably have been done by now with both of them. Picking the right tool for the job and whatnot. Oh. Yeah, I get it. So now you're not only suggesting that I should get a monkey, but it has to be a smuggled import from a foreign country. Is that what you're saying? Well, there are some running around, maybe not indigenous to the region, but mango ones? Really? Mango monkeys? Sounds like a handful. Oh, alrighty. Yep, did not get that one. But yeah, nah, that's not gonna happen. I don't really see it happening. Like I said, completely scatterbrained today for reasons unknown. Did it? I can still hear it. Maybe it's just gone too quiet. It's currently playing Amber's Rise by Miracle of Sound. Would you like me to boost up the volume a little bit? Give it a 4%. Whoa! Isn't that funk, though? Because I've heard that about funk music. And it is a subsidiary of jazz, so I think it applies. That's a bit of a weird link there, but we'll make it work. Ah, good one. Okay. I give you that. I give you that one. Very quick on the draw there. Came up with that one on the fly. Good one. Come on, Boots. Get browner or browner. Ooh, that's a good idea. That will very much help on the pitch to tell the positionals apart. Will you have time to try for the OSL before we get to there? Or will you leave it until we get back? I'm only mentioning this because the OSL might impact the skin tones. Depending on how hard you want to go with it, of course. Yeah, of course. From the glowy bases. Oh, okay. So more along the lines if someone actually picks up the mini to look at it and there is a, if not hidden, then just an added detail. That's pretty cool. I do like. Oh, so it will be visible on the top. Good as well. My idea was that having something extra, so going for very hard contrast colors so you can see the miniature from far away, as in from where you play with it. but when you put some extra little details here and there, that when the person picks it up, he does see an entirely new dimension of the miniature. That's really cool to do. Ah, did you? Yeah. It's more an inspirational thing than a technical thing, I think. So it's kind of, did you get a chance to try out the combo on something else before you something else colored with? Oh, okay. And does it retain the good sheen? Because you could just skip the matte on the armor part. Just go with the satin. And go matte just for the rest. If you're doing it on by brush. Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I got the point. I've never really tried that, using different varnishes for different parts. I do hear that it is a somewhat common practice, as in a well established one. But it does put you in the position. Yeah, it's a chore. That's what I was building up to. Depending, of course, on the amount of miniatures and on the actual details that you intend to have different finish on. Oh, nice. Oh yeah, the Melonfield Bowl, that's coming up, isn't it? I'll probably play humans. Or Norse. Hmm. The Omnicinch. I think no one would expect Amazons. And you have had a decent start with them. Oh, okay. Black Legion might burn you out a little bit, because the paint scheme is a bit dull. But it is a chance to try out highlighting black and trying to keep it black and so on. Like, there is a lot to learn while doing it, but it's a bit dull and boring. Okay, for the Amazons, yeah. Alrighty. Still working towards that badge, I guess. Or goblins. Yeah, now I'm getting a bit mad because I didn't choose this brush to start off with. I would have been able to get quite a bit more done. But again, I will know for next time. Unless I forget. Which is a running theme. In my case. Oops, sorry for the cam shaking. Ooh. What would this be? Okay, let's take a look. Oh yeah, very nice. Oh, you did, now that I see it, you did mention that you were working on Fallen Dark Angels. They are cool, I agree. The robes really give them a little bit, but I suppose this is prior to highlighting it. Oh yeah, there we go. This red is awesome. I'm just gonna go ahead and start straight up there. This red is great. And the gold, what kind of gold did you use? Because it looks very heavy, metallic, like worn out, hammered. Yeah. I should really get some of those metallics, either those or the Vallejo ones. I really needed an upgrade on the metallics. Yeah, and did you? I really like how you cleaned up the cloak here on the bottom part. Like you have a very smooth transition into it, and I think this is contrast, right? Contrast paint. Or a wash over the base color. Xandri dust and sepia? Agrax. Really, it came out this light with Agrax. Cool. That looks a bit more like sepia. Oh, with the medium, right? Okay, there. Then yeah. Yeah, that's a very good effect. And the robes in general on the on the Dark Angels is something I dearly like. Yeah, Necro Gold. Oh well. Maybe someday. It's alright, Nana. It's just quick impressions, so to speak. But they are coming around quite well. You are gonna work more on the plasma, right? You're gonna highlight it more. Maybe try OSL there as well. Wicked. Sure. Still, they do look pretty good. So on Friday, the upcoming Friday, yeah. Conversions are really fun, and I will probably agree with you on that gradation scale as it would apply to me. It's just that I really haven't been doing too much converting after the human team. But from what I remember, it was a blast doing it. I don't know, it's kind of thinking if I prefer painting or building. Thanks, dude. I should touch them up a little bit too. Weirdly enough, most of them, considering that I've been cutting their pieces off with power tools, they came off looking smoother than this one, which is putting it together as it came in the box. Which, I don't know, it just infuriates me. But yeah, the humans could stand a few touch-ups. Definitely not as much as the Dark Elves, though. The humans, I would probably touch up the faces a little bit, the eyes here and there. And fix the weathering. But yeah, I gotta admit, I'm pretty happy with how they came out. They will be trying to go about the orcs in a similar fashion. But that day will be later on. Probably the only thing that I don't like about converting and building as opposed to painting is the fact that with painting it's much easier to correct mistakes, whereas if you fuck up with your building and you chop off too much of a single part, or you super glue something really crooked and you can't snap it off in time, it's just done and gone, and that just raises a little bit the overall stress level of the process. And since, as I have mentioned probably a gazillion times, this is something I do to relax, it kind of detracts a little bit from that effect. But thinking about it and collecting ideas and matching parts together is really fun. But as with everything, I guess you need the right state of mind and a little bit of trial and error to start off in a more comfortable capacity. Okay, well, I guess that painting brown was about all I could fit into this stream. Oh, no worries. So the only thing I mentioned was that the only reason that I would prefer painting over building would be that fixing mistakes in building and converting is much harder and sometimes even impossible, whereas with painting it's much easier, and so it generates less stress for me while doing it. Because when building, I'm always worried if I'm gonna put on the arm a bit too crooked, or if the arms and the weapon will match, and that if I super glue them together crooked and then just the whole thing goes away. And we all remember how that one particular face of a Goliath turned out. Stuff like that. Not the end of the world, but it just kind of ruins a little bit of the fun. But again, this comes down to experience. Well, yeah, orcs are on the table, technically. Yeah, especially vehicle or orc vehicles. Am I right? Yeah, not aligned. They don't need to be in line because that's actually a jet. It's not even a ground vehicle, for instance. And this is actually complementary to what I said about the Gunpla mech, because the Gundam-like and Gunpla and mechs kits, they're not getting glued. They are precision plastic. Then they just need to be put together really precisely. So even when you clean up the pieces, if you snip just a micron of the material too much or too little, it might not come together correctly. Because they are articulated up to the, sometimes, I don't think this one is, but sometimes they are articulated up to the individual fingers. Yeah, sure, it's just the process of putting them together. You can always pose them afterwards and then varnish them so it would stay in that pose if you don't intend to change the pose up. But it's a completely different animal in its own, and it's a hell of a challenge. But I was thinking about it for a while, and then I saw a very cheap kit compared to the Japanese originals that was also of a high quality, so I just took it. And it's been sitting here taunting me to oh yeah, there will be no hurry on that particular project. I can promise you that. But it is there, and it might be an interesting, different thing for me to do. Not just for the stream, but for me as well. Yeah, precision plastic. Oh, naturally, naturally. I am implying that for the, how should I say, the right way to do the thing. When you need to place the fingers in a position that they would retain their articulation. Well, movement, I mean. But yeah, those models are insane. You're basically building an action figure. Was that? Yeah. Should have warned me. Yeah, pretty much. That would be the effect of a very spirited conversion. Anyway. So guys, I think that this will be it from me for this evening. As usual, endless gratitude for joining me and for chatting along. And I'll try again to do the same tomorrow. Probably should be able to start earlier and get a bit more stuff done, but we'll see. Have a lovely evening, guys. Thanks again. And to everyone else, keep loving what you do, doing what you love. And I have been Bachacolio, and I'm now signing out. Bye, guys.